Hey there, my name is Paul, and this is my new channel, The Nerdy Pilot. Yes, me. I have to admit, I am a very nerdy guy. As you can see from this setup here, I got my Thrustmaster Warthog here, throttle unit, and my F-16, or actually the A-10 stick, and my virtual reality headset. So what's this channel going to be all about? Well, first of all, I am a real-life FAA licensed private pilot. I'm not a current one, and I want to be, but I just don't have that budget, like a lot of you. So early in my life, I got my pilot license. Growing up in the 80s, you know, the 80s was an awesome time to be a kid. I'm just a little biased here, of course. We had Top Gun, we had Iron Eagle, we had Airwolf. I loved all these shows. So over my high school years, I built up my time, and then not long after graduating high school, I got my private pilot license. And then I enlisted in the local Air National Guard. I was not a pilot with them. I didn't do anything aviation. Actually, I was stuck to the world of aircraft maintenance. I had always dreamed of being a fighter pilot, like so many of you. Wanted to fly the F-16. That was my jet. But it didn't happen because my unfocused mind didn't focus on school. Instead, it was chasing girls and riding hot motorcycles. You know, you do what you do. So that dream didn't happen. But I want the Air Force to know, if you have an F-16 two-seater sitting around looking for someone to hold down the back seat, I'm your guy. So anyway, maybe that'll happen someday. So moving on, like a lot of folks, I got that private pilot license. I did a lot of flying. I was actually even active with my local Civil Air Patrol squadron, and that was a good time. But like a lot of young people, we get that career going, and then we have car payments and rent and other stuff. So that aviation fund slowly shrinks as the responsibilities take over. Now, like others, I always assumed at some point in my life I'd be able to get back into aviation, have some more spare money and get into that. But then we buy houses, and then other responsibilities happen. So I think, like many of you in my audience, you know, sometimes aviation gets put to the back seat. I keep hoping I'll be able to make room for it, but it hasn't happened yet. However, I have some great friends that do have airplanes. They do say, hey, let's go flying, and I do. I got one friend that has a float plane, and we've gone on some great flights. Another good friend of mine has an airplane that is capable of landing on some really cool grass strips. So I've flown with Josh a couple times. Awesome to do those kind of things. Now, since I don't have access to an airplane or actually the resources to go rent one, I do have the ability to burn pixels. And that's where these things come in. I love doing my virtual reality flying because at first I was doing flight sims on the computer because pixels are cheaper to burn. But as you get into the world of virtual reality, the immersion is just amazing. And one of my favorite programs is DCS World. So we'll have a bunch of videos on DCS World if you're not familiar with it. But in there you have modules where you're just not jumping in there and flying away. You really need to learn these airplanes. So a couple of my favorites, as I mentioned earlier, is the F-16. But there are other jets as well that I love to fly with my friends. We have our own little virtual squadron. Like I said, it's a nerdy channel. So my other favorites are, for example, the F-14 Tomcat, the A-10 Warthog. It's fun to get down and low with that great big cannon and go brop, brop, brop. It's a good time. And many, many other jets. So that's what my channel is going to be about. It's going to be about all things aviation that I love. I still want to get back into the real cockpit and do some flying. I may get there. It might be a slow climb. But when I'm not doing that, I love getting into this, and I really enjoy sharing these adventures with you. Are you ready? Check 6.